What's up, people? Just doing another video here. Again, I'm just doing a live thing just to, because I have zero space left on my fucking phone. So, yeah, just another off the cuff video. But I've had my Firetac for over a month now, so I figured I'd just do a little review on it. No specs or anything like that, but just kind of go over the knife in general, what my thoughts are after owning it for a month. So, start out with this. Get these out of here for now. But it's kind of a boring design, quite frankly, but that doesn't bother me. I like simple designs. Usually they're pretty ergonomic and useful. You know, there's not too many bells or whistles or anything like that on this knife. But overall, like I said, the ergonomics are good. And for a Hinderer, it's got good geometry and is a capable knife. So they're a larger knife. Like I said, I'm not going to do the specs. I'll just kind of go over general. I think it's around like 3.7-inch blade, something like that. All the ones on this batch have 20 CV blade steel. This one happens to be in the working finish, whatever. It's the bead blast that's then stone washed. It's got about a three-quarter length flat ground blade, thumb stud, titanium frame lock. They do have the lock bar insert on it now. And other than that, it's just a Hinderer. So when I first got this knife, I liked the action. I liked the, generally speaking, the ergonomics. And quite frankly, as far as Hinderer goes, like I said, it's a good cutter. I mean, I can't remember exactly how thick it is behind the edge, but it's comparable to a Sabenza behind the edge. But it doesn't have the hollow ground as a full flat ground blade. And it slices just fine. It's not the best slicer out there, but it's damn decent. So the blade stock isn't overly thick. Just for comparison, that's a Spyderco Native. It's a little bit thicker than that, but not crazy thick or anything like that. As I said, the ergonomics, it's a plain knife. It's comfortable in pretty much every grip. There's not too much, wildness to this design. There was a thumb ramp here, and as I've said before on some other videos, I hate thumb ramps. It's just, like when I grab this to cut in like the saber grip, it would go right where the thumb ramp was, and the thumb ramp was like the Trizola style. It jutted out and then just dropped off, or like Emerson, and unwaved Emerson is like a bump, and it literally was right where I set my thumb. And I couldn't stand it. Enough to the fact that I'm OCD about that, and I tried to sell this knife, but being that it was getting closer to Blade Show, I was going to lose over $100 on it. So I just decided to take it to the grinder and get rid of that thumb ramp. So did that myself, whatever. And since then, I love this knife. I carry it every day to work. And, like I said, it's simplistic, plain. Ergonomics are great. The action of this knife it's buttery smooth. It's on the nylon washers that Hinderer uses. Super smooth. It flicks open very well. You can open it slow or flick it open. To me, it has the kind of action that used to be on like the Les George Mid-Tex. That's super, smooth, but not like, it's not, just drop on its own. But it has that hydraulic smooth feeling to it. And probably one of my favorite actions on a knife I've had in a long time. So definitely really love the action. It does have the steel lock bar insert. It functions well. I will say this, when I first got it, for probably a couple weeks, it had a little lock stick. Not so much when you bang flipped it open, hard, but if you opened it slow, the lock would stick just a tiny bit, which is kind of weird with an insert, but it's gone away and hasn't done it since, so no issues there. As far as the lockup goes, it's over there a decent bit, but I don't have any worries. Steel lock bar insert, I'm totally fine with that. It's secure. There's no blade play in any direction on this knife. It's super solid. The centering is a little off on this. I haven't dicked with it at all to try to center it, to do like the little trick to center it or anything like that. I took it apart when I ground the thumb ramp off of this. So when I stuck it back together, I got it kind of right where I wanted it as far as action goes, where it was super smooth and had zero play to it. And I just Loctited it, and I made sure it wasn't rubbing, and it's definitely not. I don't know if I'll be able to see there, but you can see light through both sides. It's definitely not rubbing at all. It doesn't rub when I open it or anything like that. So not a huge deal to me. The pocket clip's a standard Hinderer. You can switch it out, tip up or tip down carry. Always go tip up. This one's green G10. They will be coming out with scales for this, just like all the other models, but I talked to them at Blade. It said it'd be a little while, so I might get a scale to dress it up a little bit more. You can see there's some kind of nicks. I dropped this thing, but all in all, it's a great knife. If you like Hinderer knives, generally speaking, you should like this. It's a lot slimmer. It's lighter. I know it's around like 4.1 ounces or 4.2 or something like that. So it's a decently light knife. It's not overly heavy. It's just a great EDC blade. And like I said, it actually does slice. It's a good performing cutter. It's still pretty thick all the way on out to the edge. So you get a decently strong tip. This does come in the Sponto grind too. I'm not a big fan of the Sponto grind, and for this knife, I wouldn't see why you want it. But here's a couple knives for size comparison. That's the Manly Knives. What the hell's that thing called? Peak, which is actually probably just a tad bit bigger than the Hinderer. And then you have the Spyderco Native, which is obviously a decent bit smaller. As far as anything else goes, there's not really too much to talk about. It came apart and back together easily. The hardware, it's all typical Hinderer. Like I said, Hinderer's hardware is pretty good to go. I've never had any problems stripping it out or anything like that. They're well made. And overall, like I said, I really like it. The thumb disc does have some like gnarling on there and whatever there. This is one of the best thumb discs I've felt in a while. There's just enough texture on there to be able to use it. And it's not like crazy grippy or not grippy enough. It's just kind of right there in the middle. And like I said, this knife is super smooth. So kind of just repeating myself now. There's really nothing else I can think of. Lock up, secure. As far as carrying in the pocket, like I said, it's not too heavy. It does stick out a decent bit. Not like crazy, but not enough to bother me. This pocket clip is a typical Hinderer, and it's perfectly fine. I really like his pocket clips. Like I said, he's always designed his shit for like firemen and shit like that. Working in law enforcement, my pants have that thicker pocket material, and this really works very well on it. So overall, I'm quite happy with this. I know Dave, Knife Nuts Dave or Misanthropia or whatever on YouTube had some problems with his detent, but I really don't have no problem with my detent as long as I can't shake it out like this. I wouldn't consider it. This detent is pretty much perfect on here. Like I said, it flicks open super easy. And you can open it slow or fast, whatever. So detent, no issues there. And overall, besides the thumb ramp, I definitely hated the thumb ramp, and that was a big thing to me. And like I said, I had to do a little work to make it my own. But once I did that, I really do like this knife. I have a Chris Reeve and Cosi, which is currently getting spawed up because it wasn't smooth at all. But to be quite honest, I still think I prefer this knife over the Cosi. Just ergonomically speaking, in use and whatnot. Besides the hollow ground blade, I kind of like Chris Reeve's hollow ground blades. But anyway, that's that, and I'm out. Thanks.